Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss our Schedule K of 1120 other information. Question number 1 is about the accounting method, whether it is cash, accrual or other. What type of accounting method you are using for your corporation, please mention there on question number 1. Now coming to question number 2, please see the list of principal business activity codes. Using the list of codes and activities, determine from which activity the corporation derives the highest percentage of total receipts. Enter on line 2A, 2B to see the principal business activity code number, the corporation's business activity, and the description of the principal product or service of the corporation. Now coming to question number 3. If the corporation a subsidiary in an affiliated group or a parent subsidiary controlled group, please check yes box for question 3 if the corporation is a subsidiary in an affiliated group but is not filing a consolidated return for the tax year with that group, or the corporation is a subsidiary in a parent subsidiary controlled group. For a definition of a parent subsidiary controlled group, please go through the IRS website and read the instruction for Schedule O of Form 1120. Now coming to question number 4, constructive ownership of the corporation. At the end of the tax year, for the purpose of question 4, the constructive ownership rules of section 267C excluding section 267C3 apply to ownership of interest in corporation stock, ownership of interest in the profit, loss or capital of a partnership. If the corporation checked yes to question 4A or 4B, complete and attach Schedule G Form 1120, information on certain persons owing the corporation's voting stock. Guys, I have already discussed everything in my another video regarding Schedule G. If either 4A or 4B, any of them is yes, tick, then you have to report Schedule G, information on a certain person owing the corporation's voting stock. Now coming to question number 5, constructive ownership of either entities. For purpose of determining the corporation's constructive ownership of other entities, the constructive ownership rules of section 267C excluding section 267C3 apply to ownership of interest in partnerships and trusts as well as corporation stock. Generally, if an entity, a corporation, partnership or trust is owned directly or indirectly by or for another entity, corporation, partnership, entity or trust, the owned entity is considered to be owned proportionately by or for owners, shareholders, partners and beneficiaries of the owing entity. So guys, be very careful about line number 5. Now 5A. List each foreign or domestic corporation not included on Form 851. Affiliation schedule in which the corporation at the end of the tax year owned directly 20% or more, or owned directly or indirectly 50% or more of the total voting power of all classes of stock entitled to vote, indicate the name of the corporation, EIN, employee identification number if any, country of incorporation and the percentage interest owned, directly or indirectly, in the total voting power. Is the parent corporation of an affiliated group where the corporation is filing a consolidated tax return rather than the subsidiary members, except for subsidiary members in which an interest is owned, directly or indirectly, independent of the interest owned, directly or indirectly, in the parent corporation. List a corporation owned through a disregarded entity rather than the disregarded entity. Now coming to question number 5B. List each foreign or domestic corporation in which the corporation at the end of the tax year own directly an interest of 20% or more, or own directly or indirectly an interest of 50% or more in the profit and loss or capital of the partnership. List each trust in which the corporation at the end of the tax year owned directly an interest of 20% or more, or owned directly or indirectly an interest of 50% or more in the trust. Beneficial interest. Indicate the name, EIN, country of organization, and the maximum percentage interest owned, directly or indirectly, in the profit and loss and the capital of the partnership at the end of the partnership tax year, or for a trust, the percentage interest owned in the trust. Beneficial interest. List a partnership or trust owned through a disregarded entity rather than the regarded entity. Maximum percentage owned in partnership profit and loss capital. For the purpose of the question 5b, the term maximum percentage owned means the highest percentage of interest in a partnership's profit, loss or capital as of the end of the partnership's tax year, as determined under the partnership agreement when taking into account the constructive ownership rules earlier. If the partnership agreement does not express the partner's share of profit, loss and capital as fixed percentage, use a reasonable method in arriving at the percentage items for the purpose of completing question 5b. Such method must be consistent with the partnership. Now question number 6. During the tax year, did the corporation pay dividends other than stock dividends or distribution in the exchange for stock in excess of corporation's current and accumulated earning and profit? Then you need to see the section 301316. If yes, then file form 5452 corporate report of non-dividend distribution. Now question number 7. Check the yes box if one foreign person owned at least 25% of the total voting power of all the classes of stock of the corporation early entitled to vote at least 25% of the total value of the classes of stock of the corporation. The constructive ownership rules of section 318 apply in determining if a corporation is foreign owned. See section 6038A C5 and the related regulation. Now coming to line 8. Check this box if corporation issued public offer debt instrument with original issue discount. If it is done, then please tick yes. Also, if checked, the corporation may have to file form 8281. Now coming to question number 9. Enter the amount of tax exempt interest received or accrued during the tax year. Please enter the number of the shareholder at the end of the tax year if 100 or fewer on line number 10. Generally, if the corporation has an NOL in 2020, it can generally elect to waive the entire carryback period for the NOL and instead carry the NOL forward to future tax years. To do so, check the box on line 11 and file the tax return by its due date, including extension. Do not attach the statement described in temporary regulation section 3019 100. Generally, once made, the election is irrevocable. Coming to line number 12, enter the available NOL carryover from prior years. Now coming to line number 13, are the corporation's total receipts for the tax year and the total assets at the end of the year tax year less than $250,000? If yes, then tick yes. If yes, the corporation is not required to complete Schedule L, M1, M2. Instead, enter the total amount of cash distribution and the book value of the property distributions other than cash made during the tax year. Now coming to line number 14. Is the corporation required to file Schedule UTP, uncertain tax position statement? If yes, please complete and attach Schedule UTP. Now coming to question number 15. A. If the corporation made any payment in 2020 that would require the corporation to file any form 1099, check yes box to the question 15A. Answer question 15B. Otherwise check the no box for the question 15A and skip 15B. 16. During the tax year, did the corporation have an 80% or more change in ownership, including a change due to redemption of its own stock? Please tick yes if it is done, otherwise no. 17. During the subsequent to the tax year but before filing of this return, did the corporation deposited or moved 65% by value of its assets in taxable, non-taxable or tax-deferred transaction? Coming to question number 18. Did the corporation receive assets in the section 351 transfer in which any of the transferred assets had a fair market value or fair market value of more than 1 million? Now, question 9. If the corporation made any payment in 2020 that would require the corporation to file any form 1042 or 1042S, check the yes box. See the instruction for form 1042 or instruction for form 1042S for information regarding who is required to file form 1042 and 1042S. What type of payments are subject to reporting on form 1042 and 1042S? Is the corporation operating on cooperative business basis? Answer the question as per the rules and regulations of the corporation. Now coming to question 21. If the corporation paid or accrued, including through a partnership, any interest or royalty which a deduction is not allowed under section 267A, check yes for question 21 and enter the total amount for which a deduction is not allowed. Now coming to question number 22. If the corporation had gross receipts of at least $500 million in any of the 3 preceding tax years, complete and attached form 8991. For the purpose, the corporation's gross receipts include the gross receipts for all persons aggregated with the corporation as specified in section 59AE3. See the instruction for the form 8991 to determine if the corporation is subject to the base erosion minimum tax. Now coming to question 3. The limitation of the business interest expenses applies to every taxpayer with a trade or business unless the taxpayer check yes in the corporation has an election to exclude a real property, trade or business or a firming business form sections 163J. For more information see the instruction 163J and instruction form 8990. Question 2. Coming to question 24. Generally, a taxpayer with a trade or business must file form 8990 to claim a deduction for business interest. In addition, form 8990 must be filed by any taxpayer that owns an interest in a partnership which the current year or the prior year carry over excess business interest expenses allocated from the partnership. Now 24A. The corporation owns a pass-through entity with the current or prior year carryover excess business interest expenses. Corporation's aggregated average annual gross receipts preceding the current tax year are more than $26 million and the corporation has business interest expenses. Corporation is a tax shelter and the corporation has business interest expenses. If yes, please complete and attach form 8990. Coming to question number 25. Is the corporation attaching form 8996 to qualify QOF Qualified Opportunity Fund? Please complete enter the amount of line 15 of form 8996. And 26. Since December 27, 2017, did a foreign corporation directly or indirectly acquire subsequently all the properties held directly or indirectly by the corporation? If yes, please list down the ownership percentage by vote and by value. By vote and value have to mention here. So guys, this is all about schedule K of 1120. Goodbye.